Hi guys, it's me, just Lindsay, and for this video that I will be dedicating to September 2025, I should be covering a very famous movie, but with Charlie Brown in it. Now, I originally wanted to do Race for Your Life Charlie Brown in celebration of summer, because that's like a good summer type movie. But I figured that it's a little bit late for that movie, and being that it's right around the time that school is starting in the United States, or it already started for the younglings out there, I figured that this is the perfect one to. Plus, it was on YouTube for free, so that's also a good plus. So, yeah, last month the Race for Your Life was on there, but now this one is, I don't get it either. Anyway, this movie is actually pretty good. I remember it when I was a wee little Joey by myself on TV or something, but this was actually pretty good. I remember the parts with the chateau, and I remember some of the French scenes in there. But other times there were parts where I don't remember it, like part where Snoopy curses out some French drivers and curses, does this thing with the facial features and stuff, which is more of an Italian thing than anything else, like fuck you type of thing. Yeah, they actually had the reference to fuck you or something similar in a cartoon that's meant for little kids. You always think of Snoopy and Pac-Man and Hubert as being innocent characters dedicated to like childhood and stuff like that. But then again, when you actually think about it, when you think of the context that in which they speak, and when you do the subtitles to it, it's like they got rude. They got a worse mouth than say Howard Stern does, or say what's the other one? Nico Bellic, Carl Johnson, or Conquer from Bad Fur Day. So anyway, this movie's actually really nice. It's very mellow, like all the Peanut movies are. I haven't seen the 3D one yet, but it's on my list to watch and see. So anyway, we start out with Charlie Brown doing his normal stick, going to school and whatnot. And it just so happened to be a foreign exchange program going on in the school. And like this, he is selected with Charlie Brown along with Peppermint Patty and Marcy to actually go to France. Without the parents, by the way. How the hell does that work, by any chance? How do you get kids to go to a foreign country without their parents in grade school? Not only that, but apparently Charlie Brown didn't know that he entered into some kind of a raffle or academic contest there to get into a foreign school. So that's very kind of weird. And what's even weirder is that the people in France, the adults in France, they speak normal English, like no more that walk, like the peanuts cartoons are known for. So yeah, it's actually very funny, very quite noticeable for an adult. Now let's see here. during the part where they, at the end where they have to put out a fire in one of the old French chateau, like a big house. It reminded me of that part early on in the Saboteur video game, in which you're going through the countryside at not an invade, and you have to just stop at the barn or a slaughterhouse on fire to rescue a bunch of people. It reminded me of that. I just thought of that. But anyway, they're going up to the normal thing of getting ready to go out to this foreign school, and it's presumed that our school also get some of their own students, some of the French kids over there, but we don't see them. It's funny because Charlie Brown received a letter from the person he can be staying with, not the patron, the host family. And it's weird because they don't actually they actually don't write it in English or bad English. They write it all in French. I would think that if a host family were doing something like this, where they take on someone from another country, let's say Japan, China, whatever, what have you, a European nation, for example, that they would at least make an intent to write the person who doesn't speak a lick of the language, in English or something similar to that effect. But no, they gotta do everything the whole way. Luckily, Marcy, the little Velma Dinkley wannabe, is going to learn French. And it's really funny because during the scene where they have Snoopy cussing out this other French driver in the movie, they actually show her saying all kinds of other bad things they got in French. And that's very funny. I never learned anything. I never learned any of the bad naughty words in French, but I did know this one word, merde, which means shit. That right there. So anyway, this is real cool, funny, real cool. I love the whole kind of sketchy mellow drawing of the cartoon. It reminded me of a cool summer day for some reason, where everything is okay and everything copacetic, everything groovy, and just very nice. And there's one character that says but I wish that they would just stay there. And I think that this, I know for a fact that this is Charlie Brown's little sister, that keeps referring to Linus as a sweet babu, which let's see here, I think her name is Lucy, but I always thought that Lucy was the one with the doctor is inside in the little scene, the brunette. But I can't really pin that one down. Anyway, she said that it'd be nice for them to keep it there. To Linus, to the one that she is supposed to love and stuff, or have a crush on. And of course we have a Snoopy that's going there too, which I have no idea why he's even allowed into the passenger portion of the plane. They even upgrade him to first class, which boggles the mind that they allow the dog to be there, but would suddenly have to compete in the cubby holes and stuff in the plane itself. And he did the thing that my mother did. I'd be overpacked because I love my mom, but that's one thing that got in my skin and my dad's skin too. That you overpack with every possible time they can hear anything that we don't need. And that spent like golf clubs, pack the radio, stuff that you don't really need to go on a big trip like this. Especially with going to another country like that. I mean, who brings golf clubs anyway, except for like a pro golfer and stuff. But turns out that he's going to Wimbledon, which I ain't know that it was a thing that nobody plays tennis. That might be like a thing for the cartoon show or from the comic strip. I didn't know that about him, about the little beagle. So, anyway, I'll see here. They go and they get everybody together. And, yeah, by the way, the brunette is the one that says, Bon Voyage, Charlie Brown, and don't come back. That's very nice to hear from one of your best friends. Have a good trip, have a good voyage. By the way, don't come back to little asshole. I hate you. That's really nice for little kids to know. So it's okay to say goodbye, Mom and Dad. Enjoy your trip to Greece or whatever. And by the way, don't ever come back here. So they go on the plane, and thank God that everyone makes it there on time in one piece. Not like Home Alone where we just lose one kid behind. All from plus Snoopy and Woodstock make it over there, which is fine and dandy. And they even show the difference between the first class seats on the plane and the coach, I guess. And the main difference is that the stewardesses treat you more attention. They give you bigger plate portions, and the seats are a lot bigger. I can actually speak that as speaking truth because during my senior trip, I was bumped up to first class so that they wouldn't have to push the wheelchair down the aisle. And because there was room up there. So I got a special treat in which I would take advantage of that by inviting women in another class up to the front to be with me. So anyway, there was a lot of room there, a lot of fun stuff. They offered like drinks and all that stuff to us. Well, in the cartoon, I'm sure that if I had been of age, probably give me a martini or some kind of alcoholic beverage to go with the flight. But believe it or not, man, I'm actually pretty calm with flying. And I don't care about flying. No, I don't clap whenever I land whenever the plane lands. That's kind of dumb. But I would like to join the Mile High Club if I ever get the opportunity to do so. So anyway, they show that Snoopy goes in front of the plane. Everyone talking about that. This, that, and the other thing. Boy, I can't wait to get over the friends and stuff. And let me tell you something. I like all the characters, Lucy, Linus, Pen, Marcy, Schroeder, the kid with the piano. I love them all. Except for Pepper and Patty. I want to choke her little neck around because she wouldn't shut the fuck up about everything. I'm the best person there is. I'm this, I'm that, I'm the other thing. Well, she was trying to convince everyone that the contact in France, Pierre liked her and that she didn't want to disappoint him by being with Charlie Brown and such like that. And she was just a pain in the ass. Because every time she would always open her mouth and talk to Charlie Brown, everyone knows him as Charlie Brown and such. But she kept referring to him as saying like, "Hey Chuck, how you doing, Chuck? You see that over there, Chuck? You better go get it. You better go get it, Chuck." And she was the queen of the observations in this movie, and that in combination with the fact that she kept on referring to the main character as Chuck annoyed the piss out of me. And that's not something I use very lightly, but they shit out of me. And yeah. But Monica did get some good jokes out of her too. Just saying that she never carried a book in a backpack in her life. So then Monica says, yeah, maybe if you did, you would get out of the C's and D territories in school. Now that also begs the question, if Peppermint Patty is so bad with the grades, but why was she even elected to go on this trip anyway? I mean, I would imagine that only the people that are like B territory would be even allowed to consider to go on this trip to another country. But without the parents, I might add too. I can't get over that fact. So So they end up going there. They make a stop over in Britain of all places, which it sounds pretty legit to me. Did Scotland first, and then Britain. I don't know if that'd be the proper order, but that's what it is. So then Snoopy goes to Wimbledon to some tennis playing there. And when you believe it, he pisses off the people over there too by insulting some people, playing pranks and all that other stuff there too. So I can imagine insane your mother and all this stuff in his traditional Snoopy type speak. Wow, that growl noise that he makes. I think this might be the only time that we ever hear him speak is in the movies. Correct me if I'm wrong about that, but I think that he only speaks in like a cartoon of like mumble and growl and stuff. I think that this time we really hear him growling and yelling at people, which is a first. So afterwards, they end up having to go to back on a plane to get to France, and even though it's called Bon Voyage, they only have like France in it for like the last half hour of this like 72 hour, 72-minute movie, something like that. Maybe 6-hour movie, 72-minute movie. And they actually show the adults in this part of the world, and regular people, like zombies or monsters or whatever one might assume from watching the TV show and stuff. So it's Marshall talking in French to Guy Pierre. I mean, the only one in the bunch that knows French. It's that Snoopy and Marcy end up keeping up and insulting the other French driver. Now, I don't know per se if like a French person would react in that way to a person from America driving in such a crude way, like they did. But yeah, 100 off horns would be natural, or other stuff too. But one thing I do notice is that there's a stereotype about French people that they don't live into, and that being that French people in particular are very snobby and sneaky when it comes to Americans. I don't know if that's true or not, but they don't talk about that in this movie. So all the foreign relations are pretty much, friendly and stuff, which is a really nice touch. I'm sure that they probably could do that, but this movie may not be rated G in that case. Also, I want to know that this movie, I believe, was made in the 80s, maybe 70s, so it really shows that because number one, when Snoopy goes into the metal detector in the airports, they only buzz off for his color. Number two, there is no real security problems over there. There's no cavity searches or pat downs or whatever. So this is way before 9/11, which is quite interesting. So we'll see here. The grandparents, they pissed off a few people over there and driving and stuff. Maybe does this gesture, which is really odd for a lovable, innocent character like Mr. Snoopy, Mr. Snoop Dogg. And let's see here, they show that they want to teach. The teachers had that the classes in school will be taught part in English, the other in French, the other half in French. So Charlie Brown said to his friends, "Oh great, now no one will know what we're talking about." Which is pretty accurate, If I were to put it in a foreign land, I wouldn't know what the hell they were saying to me and vice versa in the language. And then the teacher also doesn't, the kids in the classroom wouldn't know anything about what English is saying. Much like when I was watching this on YouTube, they have they had the subtitles on so that people with hearing issues could understand what was being said. But I found that very interesting and kind of funny that they would do this, but but again, there was a sound effect in there where they put like the car like want to say Citroen car was they had the transmission gears shifting, that grinding noise, and when they put the subtitle on that, they said that the gears shifting. how would a completely deaf person be able to understand that? You know, how does that person think one word sound they'd never heard before? Would they think it's or would they think it's more hi? That's kind of stupid. I hate when movies do that too. And of course, you have the regular stock sound effects that have been used in many movies in the past. It's like the pummeling sound, the hitting the ground sound and all that. But it's funny, never had the Wilhelm scream in there, which would be a nice little touch there. So anyway, they were in Paris to like seeing the sights and stuff, and then Pierre's like, so what you gonna say in obvious French accent? They obviously got a French guy to say the line, and you can tell by the voice cast in the movie, that everyone except one person is a French person. Everyone except one is an American voice actor or actress. So we're going to the violent mansion. Oh, nobody go there. You must be mistaken because nobody go there. The person there is very violent and very horrible person who hates all other people, all other guests. But they got friendly from somebody. Turns out that the person has a ward there, which is like I guess it's supposed to be like a adoptee, little girl looks like an adoptee. I think she's related to Charlie Brown. Like, his grandfather met with her mother or something, and they had a relationship, or maybe a family friend was his grandfather, and from World War II, and they had they were just friends and stuff with the family stuff. With no romantic relation whatsoever. So when they show pictures of these people, it's funny because on the TV show, they never had any adults in there. Like it was kind of a fever dream by some kids and stuff like Ed and Eddie. So I was like, yeah, we're finally gonna get to see the adults in this world. And believe it or not, Grandpa looks exactly like Charlie Brown or Chucky Brown. And same haircut, same everything, but older in uniform. That was like very funny that they would do that. So in case they took the matron, the ward is like they're gonna be Violet. Yeah, Violet. And she's like being friendly and stuff to them and everything. Meanwhile, the owner of the chateau is like the evil guy, like almost like a shouldn't like the Beast from Beauty and the Beast, but he is much more into shadows, kind of like Father from Kids Next Door cartoon, and he's just very, very, very antisocial. To the point of I gotta ask if he wants to get rid of the kids so bad. I mean, he's just children, by the way. Why would he even have the ward there? Little girl, Violet, whatever her name is. If he hates children that much, if he hates people that much, why did he have a little kid running around this chateau? It makes no sense whatsoever. It's like the Grinch. If he doesn't like anybody or anything, why did you got Max? And because he needs someone to help him out with certain things and take care of him and to have some property and that kind of thing. And no one else will do it because it's such a pain in the ass. So anyway, the guy, Pierre, like, you gotta be careful with the guy. And, let's see. It turns out that Marcy is actually getting real buddy with him. Like, I'm like holding hands with him. Even though, Peppermint Patty's like, no, I don't want to leave the guy on. I think he likes me and stuff. I don't want to make him jealous that I'm with you, Chuck, all the time. So, she must be in denial because it was always assumed that her and Marcy were together but it turns out that Marcy and Pierre were getting along quite nicely. They're holding hands, they're doing that together, doing that together. So, yeah, it's kind of funny. And the fact that Peppermint Patty during the classroom, I think, little Chucky boy is the next in class and he's like, I'll give you my answer, Chuck. You give me your answers. So the teacher said to Charlie Brown, she said, Charles, are you getting your answers from Miss Patty over there, Miss Patricia? She's not giving me answers. She may be forcing them on me, but she's not giving it to me, ma'am. Very polite, very cordial. And she's over there falling asleep like. The answer 12. The answer 12. The answer 3. And she tried to do random numbers like I'm sure Donald Trump would do, like 12, 5, 3. And then the teacher gets the right answer on 3. A real teacher wouldn't do that. A real teacher would go for the first answer that comes out of the kid's mouth. And then she said, what is the significance of the year 1066? I mean, it's like, okay, could you give me a location? Can you give me a country or origin? Yeah, that's kind of vague. So then they get into trouble over the whole question and instant that's given to Charlie Brown and the talking in class. So they get sent to the principal's office, but instead of being called the principal's office, called the director's office. Which I don't know if that's a thing in France. I don't know if they call the principal the director, but whenever I think of a director, I think of someone from a movie or something, which is like really funny. So anyway, during this part, they are like, the logo Violet is coming down. Violet's got all these problems with her ward guy there, and not about how the problem this guy is, and I think when the Kindle does, she ends up catching fire to the roof, the attic of the chateau, and then everybody goes into panic. You want Charlie Brown and the others are sleeping outside in the barn, and it's like, but these are human beings. Why can't you just let them stay in the house for a day or so? So, yeah, but the two girls Peppermint Patty and girl Marcy is staying over at Pierre's house. Now I would think that that kind of thing would be more of more professionally taken care of. That they would have all their living quarters squared away first before they go over there and check with their parents and all that in the school and make sure that the sponsor schools are going to treat the kids well, or they would probably be blacklisted for not treating them properly, with the food and with everything else too. So anyway, they show everybody packing. Charlie Brown's over there, wakes up off the ground and is panicking. And then, oh yeah, I forgot to mention about the bar scene. Now, we know that the kids are kids. Yeah, they don't go to a bar. And Snoopy, I guess it's of age, so he goes to a bar, local pub or something, and gets root beer rather than regular beer. But he drinks so much of it that I'm saying that the dog's got diabetes. He drinks like 3 beers in 2 or 3 minutes, and that synthesized glasses, to which he overhears that the Baron, or the owner of the hotel, wants to get rid of the kids in the worst way possible, murder or something else. Simply because he's very, very violent. So anyway, during as Snoopy is playing the song and stuff on the jukebox, it's really funny that when the song they play is Rum and Coca-Cola, which I believe was a real popular song, but Rum and Coca-Cola is like an old style alcohol beverage that I forgot the exact wording of the song, but it's something like that. You'll feel better with rum and Coca-Cola, and this is way back when Coca-Cola was actually made with real cocaine. So the fact that they would have an advertisement for this in this cartoon, not meant for children, just plain funny to me. Even though they're a little bit looser with the drinking habits and laws concerning minors in Europe and France in particular, that's just funny to me. It's so funny to me. I mean, the song is actually pretty catchy. But yeah, might do the song for that one day. Anyway, so you see Snoopy and Woodstock and a few others grabbing an old-fashioned pump action fire department hose and going to rescue Violet and Linus from the burning building. It's funny. It's very funny that when Linus and the ski place with Violet, he actually he actually uses a blanket, a safety blanket, like a whip from Indiana Jones, and he whips around the tree branch or something, and then swings that with Violet. And then to become kind of an item too by the end of the movie. And the Baron or whatever it was, it's like, oh my god, the poor Violet, I wanted to see my little girl. and he doesn't care about anything but his safety. So, because him and the others saved the girl, they're okay by his bucket, by his margins, which is like something amazing. You know, he hates all humanity except for those 4 kids. Maybe if she finds out how annoying Bevan Patty is, maybe he won't like her so much, but still. So they show that because Marcy likes Pierre. It shows that she's not gay like Patty wants her to be. Perhaps she's bisexual. I'll give it that. So anyway, they jump for the end. I think that's one point that they kissed at one point. I don't know. But anyway, her and Pierre and it's a very good cartoon that shows a little bit of French culture. I do want to go to the French countryside and the French landmarks and sites. So this movie was actually pretty cool. The music was actually pretty good, with no soundtrack like the Saboteur, but it was still pretty good. Damn it. And they didn't go with the stereotypes about the Parisians hate Americans. Okay, here. Well, there, oh yeah, also, during the firefight part, they did the joke where Snoopy mans the fire hose and goes crazy whenever because he reads something, pressure from the fire hose, when it made it go nuts when it reached the head of the hose. So he eventually got control over it, and he actually used the hose to get to the shoot the flame. But they were also calling up another firefighter, one professional firefighter, truck and stuff. And that was actually really funny because I just remember seeing that film, that episode where they made a reference to European or maybe French alarms, like ambulance and fire trucks. And they sound like a gay threesome. So I couldn't get that in my head. And of course they had big strong men being Linus and Charlie Brown main the fire pump. That was actually pretty cool. Let's see, I definitely enjoyed this cartoon for being so back and making new friends across the world. It was like really nice. Something that I wish I could do, but I never gonna do right. Let me see. They eventually got everything under control in the fire and the flames. And I find it real funny that Charlie Brown goes to many people around the area saying, help, help, fire, 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 fire. And eventually some people do call for help and stuff. But it's really funny because I don't know what the French word is for fire, but it will help a little bit if the people that he was calling out for help with knew English and they knew help, because otherwise you would just see kids yelling in a foreign language, help me, help me. People need help, people burn to death and stuff. And they're like, who the hell is this kid? What the hell is he doing? Why is the little bald kid yelling at us for help? We don't even know what that means. What the hell does fire mean? If he was able to pantomime it with something or other, or maybe draw something, then people will be able to understand what you mean by all that. But the power of movie magic, they find out what it is that they send up the firemen. I guess you could make the argument that because they were older people, they knew enough English to help them out, but it was still kind of stupid. I like the mention of French food. I like the mention of certain French words, phrases, and all of these things. And the phrase that wasn't mentioned was du fromage. And that was from Dexter's Laboratory. So there. And let's see here, this movie was like pretty good. I enjoyed it. I remember the burning scene very well. I remember the part about Violet being in there. Pierre, the plane. Although, if anything did happen to the plane, we all know that Snoop Dogg could fly it. Because he's flying the Red Baron plane when he is when he's at home, daydreaming. So anyway, if he was happy, I think during the end credits they show Snoopy and the gang going back home, and they show the end credits like red, white, and blue, and for some reason they do it. You do the credits and the pictures there in the style of Monty Python credits. I have no idea why, but they do it that way. Maybe it's been around the same time as Monty Python and all of that. So yeah, I thank you for watching my review of Bon Voyage, Charlie Brown, and don't ever come back. That's about to tell now. That's what she said in the movie. That's what they put in the YouTube thing, which I will provide a link for in the video, in the description below. And anyway, it was so fun to do for September school starting and all that, because they do it for school trip and stuff. But when did the kids leave the school in one teen, they never go back to it. They never go back to that school, which is weird. I give this my happy face seal of approval, because it's freaking awesome. It's Charlie Brown over there, and it's good to see them actually make friends over there, and that Charlie Brown's grandfather was in the World War II, I think, because it was Normandy in D-Day. And it was good to see Linus actually in danger, because all the cartoons and movies are pretty much low stakes. And I like the fact that he went to a different country, a very familiar country for me, because I took 4 years in high school of French. And when I passed my music exam, so I'm not gonna let that go either. So yeah, if you like what you see here, you want to see more of my videos, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. You can also contact me for future information on future things, like call me or text me at my phone number at 631-707-3707. Also, you can follow me on Twitter or X if you prefer to call that at P Nelson Pro. Also, on top of that, my email is jjviewingchannel@gmail.com. So, I salute all you people with French or Canadian culture and things. I love Europe. I believe that this is one of the first times that I ever saw a cartoon that was American that went to other countries like Europe. I think this beat Japan actually, and other Asian countries too. I don't think that there were many. I don't think there were many cartoons that I delved into a fun culture like this and did it right without any types of anger or anything like that either. That was really good. So Bon Voyage means good trip. Have a good trip. And anyway, peace out, my brothers and sisters. I'll see you in the next video, girls and guys, in internet land. Ciao, ciao. Arrivederci. Bon week means good night, and sayonara to all the girls and guys in the land. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.